most requested things that people ask me all the time is how to find a way to get the data they're looking for on a web page. And a lot of people struggle with the whole concept of it and how to kind of go step by step through it. And it's really easy to get muddled when you're trying to get something. Let me give you an example today. On the Amazon bestsellers page, I want to scrape the main categories, and there doesn't look like there's a clear way to do it. But I'm going to go through the steps. I've actually figured out how to do it, and I'm going to show you how I found the best way to do this. First off, navigating to the page, I'm going to create a list called categories. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape an attribute into categories, and probably the first likely thing we're going to do is we're going to select a category like that. Now, I already know it's going to be a problem because it's using an offset. And it's using an offset because what's happened is Ubot has counted through the page and looked for every tag that was an li tag. An li tag is like a list tag, and it's the 240th one. Let me show you another example here. If I select this one, 205th, 206. So I could go one step closer and see how it goes from highlighting the whole area to highlighting just the text. Let's select that. That might get us a little bit closer. So I'm going to select this here, and I notice that it's actually just found the actual the href going right to the actual location. So that might be handy. And this is actually the first thing I tried. I always try the simplest things first. Now what I did was I'll copy this. I'll right click and copy all of this into a notepad. Okay, just to bring this on screen for you. Okay, now I know that some of the stuff is going to have to be removed, because what I'm going to do is I am going to use wildcards. Now the star or the asterisk is a wildcard in Ubot. And basically it says to Ubot, that this is just could be anything. Okay, so I'm going to select this. I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace. Control A is select all, by the way, and then paste it. I'm going to say wildcard. Okay, so there's our expression down here. I'm going to say okay. Now I know there's 35 URLs in this list. I physically went and counted them just to be sure I knew how many I was getting. I don't want more, I don't want less, I want exactly 35. So I'm going to say href. Oh, sorry. Goodness. Href, there we go. Okay, I'm going to make sure this is select, don't delete, because I want to catch everything. Okay, and I'm going to run this, I'm going to see what I get. I was doing some testing a minute ago. Let me clear all the variables, and then you can see it again. Okay, let's do this again. Okay, exactly 35. I got lucky that time. When I was testing earlier, I was struggling because I was trying to get all of these, but what I had done, and I'll show you what I did. There's exactly 35. That actually worked out really good. Okay, let me go back to edit, add attribute here. Instead of using this line here, I actually selected the whole thing, got rid of it all. Like that. Okay. Let me show you what I did here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this because this is actually really good to learn, because I'm going to show you a few techniques. Oops. Oh, good old Ubot. You gotta go in and select that thing there. We're gonna go back and edit it. I'm gonna say it's the href, and I'm gonna put the wildcard in place. Okay. 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 I'll show you what I got earlier. I actually had 40, up to 40. And this page will change. 41 right now. I've had it come up as many as 45, and it's fused about 39. So this page is a little bit dynamic, and I have noticed that the actual page here does change quite a bit. So right now on this count it's 41. Now showing you the other technique, it would probably just work. But you know something? I'd like to be absolutely 100% sure that I'm catching the right data. Now, this is great, but I'm getting data outside of this block here. See this block here? I'm getting it outside of this block. So the next step to do is to jump over to Firefox. Now, I use a plugin called Firebug, and it is, if you're doing any web scraping, you need Firebug. I'll just leave it at that. Let me just compress this a bit. Sorry, the screen's a little tight with the recording resolution. Okay, what Firebug does is once it's selected and it's turned on, I can select this indicator here and zip through, and I clicked on here and I see any tag or any category. These are the categories I want. But immediately, what I'm doing is I'm watching down here. I got to select something here. I'll show you. I'm watching here. See, it says this here. The browse. That is really unique. That's really, really different here. Okay, so it's that that browse route that caught my eye because it's part of the left column. And if you see, if I hover over it, it's selecting that part of the text. You can see right here. If I can, unfortunately, I wish I could go down and show you. Even from, oh, maybe I can. Even from the bottom, you can see it's only selecting that section of text. So I know if I grab that section of the page, I can pull what I need out of it. Okay, so I'm going to make a note of that, and I'm going to go back to Ubot. Now, I tried going in and using child scraping and that, and it just didn't work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to jump over to here. This is the final version I came up with. I decided to set a categories here, and let me just go in here and edit it here. So you see here, what I did is I went to the section here, and I'll mimic that behavior. Okay, see how I selected that like that? Now it's gone to one level too high, so I'm going to select the advanced editor. I'm going to pop this open a little bit. I'll look down one level. I'm going to select this. You know, and now what we've got to do, you've got to watch here. Because here it's just showing us the tags, but it's not showing us all the guts and tags. You see here, div, left column 2, that's where we're at right now. And the UI, the tag browser. And within here, we have our list. It probably is a child, we can grab the list. So, but it's a little complex, and it's complex on purpose. You know, these guys don't want us to scrape their data too easily. So I'm going to say exact match that. I'm going to grab that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all the inner HTML. Everything. Okay, and I'm putting it into the variable categorize. Okay, so let me delete this node here. Let me rerun this here. Now you see here, go to debugger, we got this huge honk, and if I select it, it just becomes a big blue section. What it's telling us, it's grabbed all this information from that inner HTML. What I'm going to do while it's blued, I'm going to say edit, copy. I'm going to go over to a package I highly recommend again. You can get it, a free version of it is Editpad Pro. I'll just bring it into the window nicely here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the whole page in there. Okay. So here's the whole page. Now, when you start Editpad Pro, you don't see this window here. You got to select the magnifying glass and the highlighting. So I'm just looking at the top of the page. I'm going to just zip to the top here. And what I would do is I start moving down. I'm looking for one of the, oh, there's one of them right there, one of the hrefs. Now let's try simple. Let's get a count here. 36 times. I know that's 35, so that's too many. Okay, so I'm going to do equals. Let's do a count. 35. That's perfect. Now I don't need everything, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the look behind, look forward shortcuts for regular expressions. Again, highly recommended to learn. And you can see now I've just selected exactly the text that I want. Now I can grab this here. I'm going to right click and copy this. Minimize that window. Now what I can do is I can go in here and say add list to list. Categories. And then what I can do is I can look inside the text. And that's just using our find regular expression. Okay, the text we're going to be searching is the categories. And we're going to paste that regular expression that we found. Okay. Okay. Now, let's run this and see what we get. And sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. So let's just see. Okay, we got the big categories again. Let's zip down to the bottom of it here. And Shazam, we got 35 items. Now, like I said earlier, we could have used the wildcards and it would work perfectly. But we know that this is working because we scraped. We actually know where we scraped from. We scraped from an exacting category. We scraped from the area of the page. The only thing that would screw us up in the future is if Amazon changed the name of the ID here. Now, if they happen to change the URLs for this here, our robot's broken. So there's a couple ways for you, and that's kind of what I want to show you. Just a quick video and how to kind of go deeper and get what you need, scrape it out, and then you have the ability to then access those pages. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks a lot. This is Frank Thomas.